The story of Joseph4. Joseph became the prime minister of Egypt. A lot happened since then, but Joseph got married and had 2 children. And as Joseph interpreted, Pharaoh's dream came true. There was great abundance in Egypt for 7 years. And throughout this time, Joseph prepared for the 7 years of famine to come. He knew just how horrible it would be when famine begins. The surrounding countries were out of crops in a year or 2 after the famine began. There was grain only in Egypt. People from other countries visited Joseph to try to get grains. Meanwhile, the land of Canaan, where Joseph's father Jacob and his brothers lived, also suffered a famine. Jacob told his sons to go to Egypt and buy grain, and soon Joseph would be meeting his brothers again. Do you remember that dream Joseph had when he was young? The dream where his brothers' sheaves of grain bowed to Joseph's? And just like that dream, the brothers bowed to Joseph without recognizing him. They could never have imagined, not even in their dreams, that their brother Joseph, whom they sold as a slave, had become the prime minister of Egypt. Upon meeting his brothers, Joseph came up with a few plans. If he were young, he would have arrested them and punished them. But Joseph was a changed man. Joseph wanted to know how his brothers felt about selling Joseph as a slave, and if his father, whom he loved, was still all right and healthy. Joseph secretly put a silver cup in the younger brother Benjamin's pocket and falsely accused him as a thief and put him in jail. The other brothers came to Joseph to make their plea, risking their lives to save their brother, and begged Joseph. Judah even told Joseph that he was willing to go to jail instead of his brother. Joseph's brothers regretted having sold Joseph as a slave. Having heard this, Joseph secretly wept. In the end, Joseph told his brothers who he really was and brought his father and his brothers to Egypt so that they can avoid the hardship of the famine. Throughout a long period of time with God, Joseph realized that even though what his brothers did was really bad, God transformed him through them and made him dream and made his dreams come true. Joseph forgave his brothers, but his brothers weren't so forgiving of themselves. When their father Jacob died, the brothers went to Joseph and begged him to forgive them because they were afraid that Joseph would take his revenge on them. Joseph cried and told his brothers something he realized after having lived a life as a dreamer. He told them, "You tried to harm me, but God transformed it in a good way, and He tried to save the lives of many people through it." Friends, a boy, a dreamer from Canaan, was sold as a slave because he was hated by his brothers. He was framed, he went to jail, and lived there forgotten. But God did not forget Joseph. Rather, He blessed people through him, showed His grace, and made Joseph successful in everything he did. And ultimately, He saved many people through Joseph. And just like Joseph's last confession, it was God who made Joseph's dreams come true.